So tonight we're going to get started in supported bridge. So if you do have a yoga block or a thicker book, you can grab onto that. Pillow works great for this too. So if you know where you're going, just come down to your back, all the way down to your spine. And then you'll just walk your heels in towards your glutes. And to see if you're good space with distance apart, you can see if your fingertips can touch your heels. If you are in a good spot, just lift your hips up enough to slide whatever prop you have underneath your low back or your sacrum area. And you can always do the test of lifting up your legs and holding up your arms just to see if you don't wobble off whatever prop you have, to see if it's in the right spot. But just bring your feet rooted into your mat, and then you'll round your shoulders down your back. And you can either place your palms facing down on the ground just for a little bit of grounding to get you started. If you want to start already focusing in on your breath, you can bring them to your belly. But wherever you find yourself, just start to close your eyes and just notice your breathing. Don't try to change it yet. Just bring some awareness and attention to your breath. It's been quite a week, very heavy news cycle, and everything that's going on in the world has just been really draining and heavy to carry around. And you add that with your normal day-to-day, and it's just really hard to get out of bed every day. And if you have like stress at work and crazy things that happen, it can be a lot. So as you're starting to get settled in here tonight, just bring attention to your body, how you're feeling right now. And anything that you may be carrying with you to your practice tonight, just see if you can leave it behind just for this next 60 minutes as you get settled here. This is your hour to really rest and restore and reset. So if you can at all, just try to be present here, focusing on what's happening, any sensations in your body, the lengthening that's happening in your body, your ability to create space, to allow things to release and let go. So if you haven't started to really tune into your breathing, just start to pay attention to that now. And if you notice that you're not really breathing with your belly, and on your inhales, just letting it really expand out, just try to take a few rounds of breath, really focusing on that, expanding your belly out as much as you can on the inhale. And then on your exhale, just let it all go. Release all your air till you're fully empty. And then just take a couple more rounds like that, feeling the rise and fall of your belly, really grounding into this pose. Supported bridge just really allows our heart to have a little bit of a break. It's been a really heavy week for most of us, so it's just an opportunity to breathe in and try to relax just a little bit. Throughout class tonight, if there are any postures that I am calling out that you aren't feeling, it's not feeling good in your body, or you're just not up for it, you do what feels good to you. You could stay in Shavasana the entire time, or you can just hang out here in supported bridge for the rest of class, and you're doing restorative yoga. So listen to what feels good to you. If you want to skip over a pose or do a different variation of something that I'm calling for, listen to that. Let that be your guide tonight. I'm just merely suggesting things for your class. Take another deep round of breath in. Big open mouth, sigh out, let something go. when you're ready on your time and your next inhale, just lift your hips up enough to remove your prop. And then slowly, one vertebrae at a time, just lower back down to your spine. And when you can, just start to bring your knees in towards your chest, and then you can gently rock from side to side just to loosen up your low back. And on your time, when you're ready, tee out your arms, keep your knees in this tabletop position. And on your exhale, drop your knees over to the left-hand side of your mat. So you may need a block or a pillow underneath your knees or in between your knees just to help out your low back a little bit, or just your knees in general. And then start to rotate your upper body so that both of your shoulder blades are still on the mat. So you may need to come off of your twist just a little bit to allow that to happen. And then once you feel like you're in a good spot with your lower body, just start to take your gaze over towards your right fingertips, and then softly close your eyes once you're there. So finding a shape that feels good to you. It's gonna look different and feel different tonight than any other supine twist that we've done, any other class. So be mindful of that, be gentle on yourself. Don't let your ego get in the way if you do need to use some props tonight or want to do something else. And if you need to get into this further, if this isn't enough of a twist for you, you can always extend your left leg straight and then twist over towards the left so that you're really getting in a deep, deep stretch. It's really intense, and we're gonna be holding it for a little bit there. So if this variation feels good, you can stay there. If you want a little bit more, you can always extend your left leg. But while we're twisting, just imagine that you're rinsing out and letting something go. So something that you've held on to, or maybe something that happened during your day-to-day. Maybe you had a hectic moment or several hectic moments. Can you just leave them here? Because they're not happening right now. What's happening right now is you're on your mat, in your own space, logged into yoga class, and all that stuff that may have happened today, it's not happening right now. So let it go, release it out. It will be waiting for you to fix or do something about tomorrow. So today, right now, just be here, be present, tune into your breathing. And during each pose, if it's something that we can get deeper in or things that we'll be holding for a while, I'll always let you know when we're about halfway through. So if you do need to make an adjustment or want to get deeper into something, you can certainly do that. Continue to use your breath. Be mindful of your belly breathing. This is also a good one if you want to bring your left palm to your belly to really feel your breath. You can do that here too. That's always a good option. And we're halfway through this side of your twist. So tune into your body, see how you're feeling. If you're feeling really good, you're feeling like you're starting to really open up in your low back and in your right hip area, stay where you are. If you are feeling any pain or major discomfort, try to back off a bit. Listen to your body, what it's telling you. If you feel like you need a little bit more now that we've been in this opening posture for a bit, you can try extending your left leg to the top of your mat just to see if that variation, you get way more into your low back that way. So lots of options, but if you're cool where you're at, just stay there. Again, close your eyes, pay attention to your breathing. Let that be your guide. Your mind has started to wander while you've been laying here. No judgment. Don't judge the fact that you might be still thinking about your day or just other stuff that's going on. Just bring your attention back to your space. That is the practice of mindfulness and the practice of yoga. And just accepting that your mind did wander is the practice of yoga. So never judge, just be aware and just try to bring it back when you do notice it. Slowly on your next inhale, start to bring your knees back towards the center. And then you might feel the need to rock from side to side just to loosen up that side. You might want to take your knees in a circle in one direction and then gently in the opposite direction, again, just to loosen up your low back. And when you're feeling up to it, on your own time, we're just gonna take that on the other side. So you'll tee out your arms and you'll start to slowly drop your knees towards the right-hand side of your mat. And then if you need to, you can rotate your upper body so that both of your shoulder blades still rest on your mat. And before you take your gaze to your left fingertips, just see if this side feels different enough where you might need a prop on this side between your knees or underneath. Or you may want to extend your right leg long just to get a deeper twist variation on this side. But when you're ready, you can just start to slowly take your gaze to your left fingertips and then softly close your eyes once you're there. So allowing the twist to happen on this side, and you might want to slide your right fingertips to your belly to start paying attention and tuning into your breath over here. Using your breath to help you rinse out, to release, to let something go. And every exhale, just imagine that you're wringing out a really wet dish towel, and any excess, anything that you don't need to hold on to, you can just release. So on your exhales, just twisting deeper into this, wringing that out even more. And every inhale, you're making more space, opening up more. So just picture that as you're laying here, especially if you're having trouble just being present. See if something like a visualization can help you just be here in yoga class tonight. And we're halfway through this side, so if you did want to get in deeper by extending your right leg or adjusting your props or backing off a little bit, just depending on what you need tonight, feel free. If you're good where you're at, just try to stay still. Know that you're doing so much for your body by opening up, releasing. Being in restorative is really challenging because a lot of us race around all day or feel the need to race around all day, to be busy, to be go, go, go. And being still is scary because you have to sit with your thoughts and face what's going on or just be in your body. And that can be a lot. So you're doing a lot, even though you're just laying here right now, creating so much space for yourself. And you're undoing all that stuff that we do to ourselves all day. So just use your breath. Take a deep breath in. Big open mouth, sigh out, let it go. Slowly on your next inhale, start to bring your knees back towards center. And then again, just sway from side to side. Knee circles in one direction and then the other might feel really good. You do what feels good for you. And when you're ready on your time, just push yourself up to a comfortable seated position. So making your way very slowly. And you'll extend your legs out long. And you'll want some props here. So if you've got pillows, a couple blocks, both, whatever you need. Before you position any props, just move the fleshy part of your seat out of the way so your sit bones can really ground down into the mat. And then you'll extend your legs out long in front of you. And then you'll likely need a couple props to stack up because we're gonna do a seated forward fold. You may need to play around with the height so you can always position your pillows towards the side or just, normal this way. Again, whatever feels good to you. The goal is to get your forehead down to something so that you're not holding your upper body up this entire time. So on your next inhale, take your arms up, your gaze up. Really stretch up as long as you can. Feel the side body stretch on both sides. And on your exhale, start to really reach towards your toes as if you could grab on the bottom of your feet. And then once you really start to feel your spine round and you can't extend forward anymore, allow yourself to fold forward, placing your forehead on your props that you've stacked up. And this is where you might need extra props. You might need to move your props. You might need to swap them out if you need a different variation of props. Just find what works for you. Again, ego aside, you may be like, I don't need props. I can just hang out here and let my upper body just hang out. True, you could. But really relaxing into your props and allowing your upper body to rest really helps you get into your low back and hamstrings to allow you to get deeper into the pose, believe it or not. So get your props if you have been resisting it. And then close your eyes once you're in your forward fold and just really allow your upper body to rest on your props. And on your exhales, just imagine that you can bring your chest even lower towards your thighs, getting really into your hamstrings, your low back. If forward folds are really difficult for you, it's likely because you have really tight hamstrings and low back stuff. So just be patient with yourself. The more that you hang out here, the deeper you're gonna be able to get into this. We've already opened up low back with our supine twist, so you might find that you can actually get further in this than typical, or maybe you've just had a really rough week and you haven't been able to really stretch out that much, so you might not be as far as typical. Again, every day is different, so just meet yourself where you're at. And on your exhales, just again, imagine that you're melting into your prop, seeing if you can really release your low back just a little bit more. We're about halfway through. So make any adjustments if you need. Sometimes at this point, you can even remove a prop if you've just opened up so much that you find that you want to go deeper into this. You might be thinking you're crazy. I would never want to get deeper into this, and that's totally fine too. Stay where you're at. Just use your breath. Use your breath. Are you even breathing? If you've completely forgotten about that, just bring your awareness and attention back to your breathing. Knowing that we won't be here forever, that we'll move on into other poses, just like we do in life. Difficult things will happen, things will come up, challenges that we don't want to face. Use your breath. Take a deep breath in. Full open mouth, sigh out, let it go. And your next inhale, slowly, slowly, slowly start to make your way out. Coming back to a neutral spine in a seated position, you'll want to move your props out of the way. Bring your hands behind your low back with your fingertips facing your glutes, and then you'll just bend your knees. And then just windshield wiper your knees from side to side just to undo that forward fold. So probably feels really good right now, just releasing your low back. And when you're ready, come to a tabletop position on your mats. And then we are going to take child's pose. So you can take embryo pose by keeping your knees together if you want, if you just want a different variation. You're gonna take traditional child's, bring your knees out about mats with distance, toe tips to touch. Sink down into your heels, and then you'll just crawl your fingertips forward until you can bring your forearms on the mat and rest your forehead on your mat all the way down. And if you have really tight lats, you can crawl your fingertips over towards the right corner of your mat just to really start to stretch out the left side body. So you would just crawl your fingertips over, and then you likely would put the right side of your face down on your mat just to give your neck a little bit of a release, but you will feel that giant side body stretch on the left-hand side. And this is really good if you carry a lot of your tension in your upper body. So if you have really tight shoulders, really hunched over posture, if you're just carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders all the time, this is a really good one to try, just a variation. And I'll let you know when we're halfway through so that you can swap it out to the other side. If you are craving normal child's pose and just want to hang out in the middle, that's awesome. Stay there. You do you. But again, just using your breath, finding a shape that feels good. And the key is to really anchor deep into your sits bones and to your heels. So you notice that you're not even weight in your sits bones, especially if you are taking the variation to the side. Just try to really ground down into your heels as you sink more into this child's pose. Take a deep breath in. Big open mouth, sigh out. If you've taken the variation, we're halfway through. So just start to curl your fingertips back through center, and then slowly, when you're ready, towards the left-hand side. And then you can bring the left side of your face down to the mat. Again, doing what feels good to you. If you're in embryo or traditional child, towards the middle, just really try to tune into your breathing, sinking more into your hips, just allowing that opening to really happen. Every exhale, just melt more into the mat, allowing yourself to really open up. If you've already forgotten about your breath or are just somewhere else, not even on your mat, not here, and my voice just brought you back to your center, just guide yourself back, think of what you're doing, breathing deep. Take a deep breath in. Big open mouth, sigh out, let it go. One more, just like that. Big belly breath. Expand your belly out as wide as you can. And let it all go. And your next inhale, come back to center if you're not already there. Make your way up to a tabletop position. And then you can just sway your hips from side to side just to undo that child's pose a bit. And then when you're ready, come all the way down to your belly. And we are going to take frog pose. So if you would prefer to take sleeping swan or pigeon, either on your belly or on your back, supine. If you've got knee injuries, you can totally do that too. But when you're ready, you'll just bring your chin down to your mat and then goal post your arms. And on your inhale, just slowly start to slide your left knee up towards your left elbow so that your left leg is in a 45-degree angle. And you'll want to flex your foot. And then before you get really cozy here, dig your right toes into the mat, lift your right hip all the way off of the mat, and then just see if you can nudge it about an inch or two over towards the right, just to really get into your left hip flexor area. And then once you've done that, you can bring either the left or the right side of your face down to the mat, whatever feels more comfortable to you. But just remember what side of your face you're on, because you'll want to swap that out for the other side. So allow yourself to really get into this here. You should feel a great opening in the groin area and then your hip area and even your low back. So be kind to yourself as you get into this pose. Hip openers can be tough for a lot of us, especially if you do have tight hamstrings, tight low back. We also tend to store a lot of stress in our hip area. So if you find yourself extra tight or just feeling like you're not really open, just be patient with yourself, use your breath, allow yourself to really relax as much as you can. So if your eyes are not closed, let them close. And then just use your breath as your guide, as you're opening up and releasing. I know I've shared this before, but one of my yoga teachers, when I was first taking yoga, once described any hip openers as cleaning out the junk drawer. And what she meant by that was because we store so much stuff from stress and just frustrations that we have or things that we face day to day that we just suppress and push down and carry around with us, and things that we don't even know that we're carrying around with us, they just end up in our hips. So it's just like the junk drawer that we probably all have in our house that you have all this random crap in and you're like, I don't even know how this thing ended up here. What's all this stuff? Well, that's exactly what we're doing with our hips. So as you're in this pose, just envision that you're cleaning that entire junk drawer out. You're going to reorganize it, get rid of the stuff that you no longer need to carry around with you. And they don't need it. Those things don't need to go back. So just picture that as you're laying here, and we're halfway through the side. So use your breath as your guide. All that crud that happened today or this week or this month, just let it go. Sometimes hip openers can be super emotional because that very thing of releasing and letting go, or just stuff that you didn't even know that you were feeling or thinking about, maybe is creeping up for you, and that can be hard sometimes. So be gentle with yourself. Allow whatever comes up to come up. And maybe you're just like, nothing's coming up. I'm just hanging out here in my frog pose. And that's fine too. You know, this hip openers might not be a thing for you. So no judgment there either. Just feel the stretch in your body. Understand that you are doing a lot of good by lengthening out the front and back side of your body right now. Again, just use your breath. On your next exhale, start to extend your left leg to meet your right leg at the back of your mat, and then bring your legs up and do a quick windshield wiper from side to side just to release that out. And when you're ready on your time, we are going to just swap that out. So you'll go post your arms again, and then just start sliding your right knee towards your right elbow. Again, flex your right foot. And before you get cozy and relax all the way down to the mat, just dig your left toes in. Bring your hip a little bit more over towards the left-hand side. And then release back down. And whatever side of your face that you did not place on the mat last time, just bring that opposite side down to the mat. And then close your eyes once you're there, allowing yourself to fully release and relax as much as you can relax into front pose on this side. And we're halfway through this side. So make any adjustments if you need. If you're good where you're at, just continue to open up, release it out here. Use your breath, bring yourself back to what you're doing. And every exhale, just imagine that you're sinking more into your mat. You're opening up more in your body and seeing if you can really start to slow down your breathing to help you relax, get into that mode of resetting and really setting you up for the rest of your evening. So sometimes it's nice to count your inhalations and your exhalations just to see if, as you breathe in, if whatever number that is matches when you breathe out. And oftentimes it doesn't. We will shallow breathe and not really fully breathe in or breathe out. So just paying attention and counting also helps us slow things down, but also brings more mindfulness and attention there. So that's always a technique that you can use if you just need to bring more awareness back to what you're doing. And on your next exhale, slowly start to extend your right leg to meet your left. And again, you might just want to windshield wiper your legs from side to side. And when you're ready, come up to that tabletop position. Stacking your knees over, your hips over your knees, and then your shoulders over your wrists. On your next inhale, firmly plant your left palm into the mat. Inhale, take your right palm up to the sky, your gaze up. Exhale, flip your palm and thread it through for thread the needle. So your right palm will come towards the left side of your mat. You'll come down onto your right shoulder blade. And you might notice that your hips, your left hip instantly is a little bit elevated over your right hip. Just see if you can nudge your hips back so that they're square to the mat. And then you should feel some pressure on your shoulder here for that opening. And you can either stay where you're at here, or if you want a little bit more of a stretch, you can extend your left palm towards the top of your mat just to really ground into your left palm. If this is too much for you, you can always come into more of a child's pose variation with your legs if being in tabletop is just too much pressure on your shoulder. If you don't like this pose at all, no worries. You can come to broken wing. You can just come into another child's pose variation. Your class, your call, but this just really helps undo a lot of the slumping over, punching that we do throughout the day when we're on our computer or our phones, texting, scrolling on Instagram, or if you're driving in your car at all. This helps really undo a lot of that. So just breathe into this deep stretch, your shoulder opener. Again, being mindful of your hips. The left one is going to be sneaky and try to jet out a little bit. So just see if you can ground them back. As if you could place a marble or a book on your low back here and it would be even. It wouldn't fall off. So that's always a good gauge to see if you're aligned or not. Just use your breath, close your eyes. And we're halfway through, so if you do need to adjust, you can. If not, hang out where you're at. No, we won't be here forever. You're creating so much space in your chest area, the front side of your body. You're opening yourself up to expanding, accepting new possibilities. When we hunch over, and that's our posture that we carry ourselves with through our day, it just really is closed off, and it can look like closed off and not as approachable as if you are shoulders back, spine straight, really good posture. So just imagine that as you're in this pose, you're helping your body get to that state. If you've extended your left fingertips towards the top of your mat, just bring them closer to your face. And then ground down into your left palm so that you can come up and out of this, sending your right palm back up to the sky. And then just take some arm circles in one direction, and then in the opposite direction, just to bring some blood flow back to that side. And when you're ready, we are just gonna swap that out. So you'll root down into your right palm. Inhale, take your gaze up, your left palm up to the sky. Exhale, flip your palm, come through for thread the needle on this side. So you'll come down to your left shoulder. You'll bring the left side of your face down to the mat. And then your right hip likely is a little bit higher than your left, to see if you can square them back down. And you may want to extend your right fingertips towards the top of your mat if you haven't done that yet, to get more into the side. And then just close your eyes, use your breath here. I'll let you know when we're halfway through so you can make any adjustments if needed. We're halfway through the side. So if you have let your mind wander again, just bring it back to your space. Bring your awareness back to your breath. If you have forgotten about that, just seeing if you can slow that down a little bit. if you extended your left fingertips, or excuse me, your right fingertips towards the top of your mat, just bring your right palm in towards your face. Really anchor in towards your mat here. Inhale, reach back up to the ceiling with your left fingertips, and then just start to take those arm circles in one direction, and then in the other, just to undo that side. And when you're ready, just come all the way down to your seat, and then extend your knees out in front of you, and lower slowly all the way back down to your back. And you can take a brief stop in Happy Baby by bringing your hands to the outer edges of your feet and your knees in towards your armpits. And this might feel good right here. You might be craving some movement, so you can just sway from side to side just to really get into your low back. Releasing all that you have done this evening. And then when you're ready, unless there's any other poses or things that are calling for you, you can find your final resting shape, your Shavasana. So you may want to extend out into a traditional Shavasana by bringing your legs out wide. You can always place pillows or blocks underneath your knees. You can bring your hands down to the ground for some grounding. You can bring them to your belly to pay attention to your breath. You can also do legs up the wall variation if you haven't tried that, or it's been a bit, or you're just really craving that this evening. Just finding a nearby wall, bringing your sit bones as close to the wall as you can, extending your legs up the wall just to help reset your blood flow, your circulatory system, help with insomnia, just really slowing down your breathing. So find a shape that is going to work for you tonight. And then once you're there, roll your shoulders on your back, close your eyes if you haven't already, and release the tension in your face. So you might be furrowing your eyebrows, seeing if you can relax that part of your face a little bit, releasing your jaw. And to do that, you might want to release your tongue from the roof of your mouth just to relax your mouth just a little bit more. And roll your shoulders on your back and just let all parts of your body rest here. So if you're holding on to tension anywhere else, on your next exhale, just release and enjoy a few moments of silence and rest. Shavasana is here for you as long as you need. You're in your space and you can stay here as long as it feels good to you. So continue to rest. I will close out Zoom. And if you're ready to reawaken enough to just move on for the rest of your night and get yourself into bed, just bring some awareness and attention back to your body and start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. And then slowly, when you're ready, just make your way to either side for a brief stop in fetal pose, closing your eyes, thanking yourself for showing up tonight, thinking of all the stuff you're leaving behind and not allowing yourself to carry around with you anymore. Slowly on your next inhale, make your way to a comfortable seated position and bring your hands to heart center if that feels good to you, and then just softly close your eyes once you're there. Inhale, take a deep breath in. Big open mouth, sigh out, let something go. Breathe in something good, something peaceful, something amazing. Breathe out something that's not, that you don't need. Thank you guys so much. I hope you have an awesome evening and sleep so well tonight. Namaste.